Hey up, good evening, or should I say ciao, from the Beer Cellar studios here in Eckington in Sheffield, not too far away from our supporters, key supporters, and you can see them, well, they're pretty much everywhere because Nonnas up above, over to the side, are sponsoring and supporting this week, and they are looking after our members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. And it is pretty critical for the survival of the chain gang that we get that support because our members are absolutely key. If you've been a member during May, if you've been a member during the year, massive thank you. Don't forget, of course, if you've been a member any time since the start of 2021, you joined the Swift Power team, and that team continues to grow. Loads more riders on there. Gives you all the stats on Swift Power, gives you an idea of how everybody else in the gang is riding. But you've got to have been a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Sports Club, to be in there. And of course, if you have been a member in May and you're a monthly member rather than an all-year member, you do need to renew. Remember, guys, we do need you to renew, otherwise you won't keep on getting the links to the events direct to your inbox every time rather than having to register. Also, don't get into fantastic prize draws like the one we've got for Nonnas. Now, one man who's spent plenty of time down at Nonnas is our yellow beacon. It is the one and only Russ Downing. So let's see if we can get hold of Russ. Evening, Russ.
Evening, mate.
So you're sounding pretty good. It's quiet back there. What's going on? It's normally a bit noisier.
Oh, I've had an upgrade. I'm on a time machine. I need to try and pull my finger out and win one of these workout rides, races, call it what you wish. So yeah, I've done a full upgrade. Wahoo kicker bike.
Nice, very nice, and quite quiet in the background, other than the tunes, which we know you're bound to have to keep motivated because we are taking advantage of the fact it is the end of the Giro, that the Italian restaurants are back open again, and that Nonnas is open for business once again, and a very popular spot with cyclists for a long time now.
Yeah, it's last week of the Giro, and yeah, pretty scarred from 10 years ago riding and finishing that. But what a Giro it is. It's always the same. It's not a parade. It's not a frigging whatever. It's just who dares wins. It's a bit like the DCG, really. The Giro, anything can happen, and what a race it's turned into. And yeah, we're supported by Nonnas. Been supported by them over the years. Been doing ride outs from there. So it's great to have the guys on board and supporting the Giro week.
And of course, we've got riders who ride the chain gang riding on the Giro. We've got one of our key supporters with Grand Tour Coffee's Big Ben Jenko out and doing the business as Swanee on the Giro for Ineos Grenadiers. And looks like it's going to be a busy night tonight. I think the May that is turning into being the wettest May by far on record, pretty much, is definitely encouraging people back on. And we do need people to join the DCG gang because, of course, that's how we get them into the draws. And great draw tonight with £100 voucher for our first number out and for first member, and 25 for the second. So that's going to be good for somebody, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. You can either spend it online at the shop or pop into Nonnas and have a meal. So fill your basket, fill your plate, as Mr. Herring would say. So yeah, thanks a lot, Nonnas, and I think we need a trip there, Matt, for a bit of a business meeting, I think, soon.
Well, I think the members who were reading their emails on Sunday will notice they were slightly late, and that's mostly because I was out doing a bit more research. I did a secret shopper into Nonnas, didn't tell them I was coming, just rocked up after making my booking in a false name, and just thought I'll just hide behind the scenes. That probably didn't really work out, but there you go.
You call yourself the bear?
No, I saved that for you. Although I have had a shave since then, so I would be the grizzly bear rather than the full on black bear. It has to be said. Although there is a rumour that you've actually had a haircut.
I've not actually had a haircut, but I did realise the mouse error I made was a bit of a man one, so I've just got rid of it and. Yeah, I've got a normal do on board, and should put an helmet on really, but hopefully I don't crash on this new Wahoo kicker bike.
Well, gotta hope so. Well, we're gonna let you start briefing the troops, and you never know, we might well dive back in before the kick-off if we've got a little bit of time, because we've got a giveaway draw to deal with first of all.
Yeah, that's We've got two giveaways tonight, yeah. So
Yeah.
Get that number generator rolling, Matt.
So we're gonna try a little bit of magic here, and let's see if we can go straight to the number generator and keep Rusty, you still in the background, mate?
I'm still here, mate.
Oh, he's still here. That's what we like to see. He's not going anywhere. In which case, let's set the number generator rolling, and with the wonders of the screens, now every member of the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club has got a number up and programmed in, and all of those members, whether they're an all-year member or a monthly member for May, are in there. Now, the members have their numbers emailed direct to them along with the links, and the first number that we stop at is going to be one of the members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, and they're going to win a £100 voucher. So let's press the stop button. I have no idea where it's going to stop. I've tried to make it stop on certain numbers. It's absolutely impossible. I did try to see if we could rig it. It doesn't work. Number 58. So number 58, Keith Hayward. Keith, you've just won a £100 voucher for Nonnas. So well done to Keith. So Keith is number one, and on the magic screen we're going to make sure we mark him off. Now, if number 58 were to come out again, he's not going to be in. It's one rider, one prize in the best tradition of cycling. So let's get the number generator fired up again. So Keith Hayward with the first voucher, and the second voucher for £25 is going to Ian Bibby. Bibby is going to be the next man. Well, he definitely is going to be putting it into tiramisu, I would have thought. Russ, what do you reckon?
Yeah, he does like a tiramisu, actually, Bibbs. Anything with full fat cream, maybe he's got it down him all over that. You know? So I'm sure he might have a trip over the hill and treat. I think he's been to Nonnas before, but I'm sure he'll just do the lazy thing and buy something online with that, knowing Bibbs.
Well, he does have the option now. If we jump off this and head across to screen, we've got a hilly ride tonight for people, and they don't want too much Nonnas tiramisu before they head up the hillside today, because it is a pretty tough one, isn't it? We're in Bologna.
Yeah, it's a hilly Bologna, but not as hilly as normal, because we're only doing it. We're doing it twice. We're doing the hill twice, as we normally finish on the third time up. So we've got a little twist to it. We're going to go up it and not finish at the top. We're going to finish back down on the finish line, end of the lap. So yeah, out of the U-turn, and then 150 metre sprint to the orange banner. So it should be fun, you know. There's going to be people getting gapped and distance up the climb, people on their own. But will the group come back together and that? It's going to be fun.
Definitely going to be fun. So the Bologna course that was epically grim and tough, given a little bit of the Nonnas treatment. So Bologna alla Nonnas, and it is with a little bit more love and a little bit more care for everybody, and it is going to be an interesting one to watch. So Russ, we'll let you try to explain all that to everybody on the message boards. We'll catch up with you later. Cheers, Russ.
I just hope they're listening to you, mate.
No guarantees on that one. So we are going to dive straight into the map, and you will see up on the screen the route. It is Bologna alla Nonnas. This is the TT Gyro Prologue course, which is why we're using it. It is an 8k ascent. Now, normally this is done as a one lap. That's straight up. If we do 2 laps, it's 2 ascents. 3 laps is 3 ascents. Now, we normally do 3 ascents, but we've taken mercy on people and gone a little bit lighter. 35k, but it is pretty brutal. Now, there's no lead into this. It's really, really quick. Straight out of the pens that you can see the top right-hand side, and then along the route. Either end of the course is a U-turn, traditional time trial, turning the road stuff. You then drop back down the hill, do a U-turn, come through the start line, do the turn again. Now, there's 2 outs, 2 backs, and 2 turns, and it should finish at approximately, and this is approximately 34.2k. Like all good recipes, there's a little bit of wiggle room in here, and there's going to be a little bit of finessing to get it absolutely perfect. Now, the elevation should be about 560 metres, and it does mean that both our yellow beacon Russ and our red beacon Darren Topless of Sure Pine Cycles have got the work cut out. Russ keeping everybody together up the climb for the first time, and Darren keeping the bus on the road, and he did pick a particularly good bus, the Donny Chaingang, collecting red bus pictures faster than Nonnas collects regular customers. So we will get ourselves a view of the climb, because this is absolutely critical. as you can see, courtesy of Velo Viewer, and I know Ben from Velo Viewer, regular at Nonnas as well, we start off on the lower slopes at the far end. We climb up, and as you can see by the gradients, there are some absolutely vicious percentages in this climb, and that does mean that our riders really have got their work cut out to get clear once the go-go goes. So remember, it is 2 laps. It's twice up, twice down, a turn at the bottom, and then back in once again. And that is going to be tough. Now, our riders all lined up in the pens. You can see Russ busy there. Russ's words are there, and they're in yellow over there. And Russ really just trying to make sure everybody's got a clue of where we're going. It's not our normal 3 times up to the top. It is up, down, around the bottom turn, and through the finish line. Really straightforward. Let's see who is going to be able to make it as they head out. And we are going to keep our eyes on some of our regulars. We're going to hope we're going to see our red beacon in here, Darren Topless. And we're going to pick at least one of our random riders to follow out from the start gate. And this is where it all gets a bit interesting, that is for sure. We may well be that we are going to follow Russ out from the start as the time ticks down, about 2.5 minutes. So let's see how the riders are getting on now. Little bits of rumours from the riders. Apparently it's rained all the day long pretty much once the sun disappeared early on in Ambleside, so it's looking good. Yes, of course, I do look smart for the fat cyclist, for Mr. Mason, just diving through the messages. It is the end of the Giro. It is Nonnas, and if you're going to go out and have a great night out, you've got to have dress to suit. Don't go with me scruffs, that's for sure. So in honour of it being the end of the Giro, definitely in pink, and we've got to say, the Giro has been a stand. If you've not watched it, regular, ride it on the Donny Chaingang. Brian Smith, Bryce Smithy, is doing the breakaway. It is worth a watch every time. Brian, absolutely hysterical. If only just for the eyebrows moving up and down and the ride looks he throws across the soapers for sure. So it is worth a watch, and the action has been absolutely amazing. Now, good to see Andy Hall's just made it in. He's just arrived with 2 minutes to go. It is finishing, remember guys, at the bottom. So it's up, down, and round the turn. So it was 3 times up. If only I was on the Vino. Sadly, Mr. Herring, no. OTE for me. And more importantly, from my point of view, Grand Tour coffee. Double day espresso, don't forget, of course, you get that. And remember, guys, if you're a member of the DCG gang and you haven't renewed, do it before the end of the month. Make my life margin easy and means you don't get bombarded with emails as all the late joiners arrive. So 1 minute to go. Massive thank you everybody for joining us here for Nonnas Week, and it is going to be very, very interesting to see how this plays out. It is a twist on the classic that we have put into an epic, which is the Giro prologue. The straight up is no longer a straight up, it's up, down, basically. Just keep on doing it repeatedly till your legs fall off. That's kind of how it works. It is a brutal climb. Big climb coming up now. 36 seconds to go. The nerves are going to be jangling. Russ tonight is out for the first time on the Wahoo Kicker bike. As I'm sure lots of you know, it is going to be really interesting to see just how Russ goes on there. Russ has been a long-term Wahoo athlete, and it's going to be very quiet, hopefully. As Russ was saying, it is like something out of Star Wars being set on, a little bit like Speeder now of the Empire Strikes Back. So 3 seconds to go. Our riders are lined up and are ready to go. The clock goes and away go the riders. The very first of the go goes, and as you can see, Russ already kicking out from the gateway. If you've not watched before here on Nonnas Week on the DCG, let's give you a quick idea of some of the information we're able to bring you on the ride. So don't forget, we have lots of screens. So we have top of the screen, 118 watts for Russ at the moment, 87 revs per minute, 76 beats per minute. In the middle of the screen, we've got speed, 29 kilometers per hour, currently travelled at 0 kilometres distance at the moment. It looks to me like 0 metres of ascent so far. Been going for 10 seconds at the moment. And as you can see, the riders are well on the way out of town. Looks like our beacons in there. Just to the right of the screen is the map. So a little bit further over the far side. At the moment, we're on the zoomed out version. If we zoom in, you get a big idea of how it's running. Looks like Andy Hall's just about making it on. Thanks for compliments, Andy. You've seen me score even better than this, it has to be said. Now, the riders are heading up. We have our 2D, our zoomed out, and our 3D versions. Very, very handy for seeing. And remember, of course, down the right-hand side of the screen, over the far side of the screen, you will see the riders who are there. The rider that we're watching is highlighted in blue, dead centre. At the moment, that's Russ, 2.5 watts per kilo, 0.6k cover. The orange tick means it's actually Russ. And we will be working our way through those riders. So let's dive in live here on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. In with our riders who are out on the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne, here from Full Speed Events. So the riders making their way around the turns, as you can see, 2 big groups at the moment, and it is a little bit fractured out on course now. I have to apologise. Currently the drone cam not flying on its usual controls, and those of you who are watching on the YouTube channel previously will know that means that it's a little bit more clunky than normal. Apologies for that. Our group's just starting to pull back together again. It's really easy this. The aim is to stay with the yellow beacon, that is Russ Downey, and the aim here is to have a structured workout. At the moment, the riders are riding along well, going out through the climbs of the streets of Bologna, and certainly a great spot to go riding. Don't forget, of course, if you fancy heading out to Italy, then the guys at Nonnas, well, there is the Casa Nonnas, which is available for hire as well, and looking forward as soon as we get back to being able to go out to Italy, to getting over there and riding the Tuscany hills. Lots of things planned with the guys at Nonnas, and really looking forward to working with them. There's somebody who we've looked at for a while, with an aim of trying to be with them now. One of our riders already just off the back, having to push back in. Looks like Duncan Reed at the moment, just distanced a little bit at the moment. Just watching Reed push on in that yellow and black, just going around the side there of Darren Topless, and Darren is our beacon in the red. Great to catch up with Darren out at Sherwood Pines, and Darren, of course, one of the riders who makes all the events happen at Pines, as well as being busy in the shop. And Darren, one of the real good guys in terms of cycling around the East Midlands and around the South Yorkshire area, and good to see Darren in action. Darren taking advantage of the new ticket. If you've thinking about joining the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Sports Club, if you want to win yourselves the meals at Nonnas, you need to join for May, because it's only May members at the moment who are eligible for the draw on Thursday, because we're still going to be in May. So Keith Hayward winning a £100 voucher, Ian Bibby winning a £25 voucher. And remember, of course, we've had big giveaways from Halo, from OT, from Velaskin, 1080 and Oakley, with repeated draws for those Oakley Sutras. We've got, of course, discounts on Grand Tour coffee, on gritty merchandise as well, and of course the members getting discounts to the coffee from Russ, as well as getting all of the links with the YouTube links, the Velo viewer links, and of course the Zwift event links. You don't need to register event by event, now ride by ride. It is all really easy. You can do it straight away, and you can do that when you get the email that comes through, generally at the weekend. And so one email at the weekend, one email going out on the Tuesday as a reminder, and one email going out on the Thursday as a reminder for people. So guys, if you haven't joined up, make sure you do so. If you want to do one payment now to the end of the year, we have just put in a new ticket into the All 2021 system, and that basically means you can join, and it will run right to the end. So if you've enjoyed it so far and you think, yeah, great, fantastic, want to do it to the end of the year, you can now do that. And that is up and running at the moment. So at the moment we think we have 95 riders actually out on course. And we were talking about the one and only Bryce Smith. It looks like Brian Smith at the moment is on a bit of a mission. He's been watching far too much Giro. So Bryce Smith is with us. We mentioned him in the build-up to the show, and looks like Smithy on the front of the group, just looking at his stats at the moment. And just rolling along quite nicely at the moment is Brian, sitting at just over 2 watts per kilo. But Brian, of course, one of the key people when it comes to the commentary on the Eurosport or on GCN, and great to see him back on the Chaingang as well. Now we're going to have a little look at some of the contenders. Definitely are one of the people who we know we have to watch out for is Kieran Brown, but it looks to me like just going to have to wait a little while just to pick Kieran up. It's just looks like he's just disappeared off the screens to view. John Catley is with us. Good to have John back in the gang again. Let's have a look at John's stats. So John is in here, and if we bring the camera up in the air, we'll soon zoom down on John. So John sitting on the side of the gang here, already nicely equipped here. He's got the lightest setup. We do talk about the bikes making a massive difference. Well, this is the lightest setup on Zwift. Well, one of two. There is a slightly different frame that will do the same thing, but realistically this is the one that everybody goes for. And this is the lightest frame with the Mountainside lightweight wheels as well. So great. So good to see that Sonia is leading the gang. Went to Nonnas in Chesterfield, and don't forget the Geyser Open. It is a great place to go refuel. I'm sure we're going to see plenty of our members doing just that at the moment. Catley riding along nice as well. Looks like Joe Jarvis is with us. Speaking of regulars, Owen Fletcher back once again. Now the man who has given himself the title of hot favourite, according to him, is this man, Gareth Mason, the fat cyclist. Now, really interesting that he has not gone for the super lightweight setup here. Mason has gone for the fast downhill option, and that is disc wheel on the back and light but deep rims on the front. So it is going to be really interesting. A real aero frame. Now that is going to be quicker on the downhills. It's not going to be quicker on the uphill. In fact, he's going to have to work quite hard, almost as hard as the riders were working on Struggle Dales. And great to catch up with guys from Struggle Events, one of our partners, and somebody who we've worked closely with. The guys are working over the weekend, bringing that Struggle ride and doing a great job with that. Good to see both Neil and Caroline Mansfield on the Chaingang at the moment, and Caroline, of course, the CEO, the head honcho of Gritty, sat in and riding nice and comfortably in this group by the look of it. 78 beats per minute, 132 watts. And Neil and Caroline actually almost side by side here, and they are side by side in real life. If you get onto the Facebook pages, I'm sure you'll be able to catch up and see what they're up to. Now, one man who is feeling under the weather is this man. He is Ian Taylor, the man behind the Here Comes the Sun, and that is the 1080 a week on the Chaingang. And of course, Oakley August last year, he's supporter of the Chaingang from the word go, and Ian Taylor was up in the Peak District not all that long ago. Now at the moment back home, but feeling a little under the weather, so wish you well, Ian. Good luck, and hopefully you're not feeling quite as rough as earlier. And if this doesn't blow away the cobwebs, nothing will. So it looks like Gately in here, looking pretty good. Questions being asked on the chat about who's got the turbo trainer on 100%. Well, brave if you are, as we head into the climb, coming up to that first hairpin turn here, and this is where we're going to see the gradient kick in. I would personally have it set at about 25% most of the time, particularly for racing. 25% is as hard as you want it. You want to register the hills. You want to know that you need to push into them, but definitely you do want to make sure that you are not going at 100%. Basically, it forces you to use all the gears. You'll have bigger jumps in the gearing, whereas if you run at a lower percentage, your gearing can be a closer gear ratio, and that will allow you an easier way to put the power out with less jumps as well. Big can of worms though, as Jimmy Allen says, because the whole issue about whether a train should be at 100% or not opens up the technophiles and the technophobes, as well as the geekery that is out there, and a bit like subjects you should never mention if people are around for dinner. It's politics and religion. Well, guess what? It's politics, religion, and turbo trainer difficulty. Now, looks like Russ's spikes just hit him in the jumps. It's tilted, so looks like it's moved. The angle is changing on the Wahoo bike, and just tilted upwards at 12%, and you can just see they are just pushing on here. And the group at the moment running at 8 kph. This is one of the reasons we have dropped it down. The runners at the moment saving their legs, and it looks to me like this group is really riding really well together. Absolutely impressed with everybody at the minute. This is what we want to see. And just managing to run through Mr. Miles Curry in here. Haven't you had enough of the hills, mate? He's back in as well. Looks to me like Miles Curry after his weekend on the struggle, riding well. Tristan from Harrogate. Tristan, of course, from Harrogate, where the struggle headed out on, and you can see at the moment, just keeping those revs 80 revs per minute, 96 beats per minute, and Tristan, one of our fantastic members of the DCG gang, and that is what we're looking for. So seeing that the runs on the climb, this group are pretty much sticking all together, and everybody making sure it's nice and smooth. I'm not sure that I dare go to Russ at the moment, but I am sorely tempted just to see just how hard he's working. His heart rate's not gone over 100 beats per minute. He's already shouting that he's not got off the big ring. We'll see how the bike is going on the uphills. Let's see if we can dive in with Russ live. Russ, are you there, mate?
I'm good, mate. I've just gone towards the back door.
Did you not realise it had tilt on the go?
I thought I had it locked. My head on the rally burner above my head, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're pointing skywards, a bit like the group is at the moment. It's staying together well at the moment as we climb out from town alongside the colonnade here, and we've even got the red beacon just sitting in the back of the group because nobody's been distant so far.
Yeah, it's still trying to concentrate. Yeah, red beacon's doing a good job, so it's all good fun.
You can just see on the helicopter shots when they come up that the red beacon, he's hovering in the back. Darren is an experienced rider. We've had Darren Topliss with us for a long time, and he's just taking advantage of the June to December tickets that we've got out for the DCG gang. So he's going to be with us all the way to Christmas at least, which is great to see.
Yeah, that's what you need. We need to get people keep the show on the road, show on the turbo, and then we'll get some great giveaways going. And like I say, we've got a good one this week with Nonnas. Next week we'll see what we can cluster up, and we'll keep it good.
Yeah, looking forward to June. It's going to be if the current weather forecast is anything to go, but we're going to be really busy because it's not looking like the weather's improving all that much, and even if it does, we'll still be here all the way through with the Chaingang as we were last year, because of course things changing all the time.
Yeah, we just we had some great weather last year, but we weren't allowed out, so it's all a bit bizarre. But it's a great workout. We have some good fun before the serious wattage gets laid down. But we're going well here. We're all, I'm not going very well. I'm getting dropped, but you're doing it.
Well, it is just starting to string, but we're 7k in now nearly, so not too far to go. But the gang pretty much all together. This is what we expect to see on the running. It's just about compressing it, isn't it? As we go up the hill, it strings out. If it goes over the top, strung out, it'll split. Whereas if we can compress back down and go over the top, it will ride better for the next lap.
Yeah, we just got to regroup in the bottom and then await something.
Yeah, those magic words that we dare not utter, those are the ones.
No, but I've got all these numbers on my bike that say 1 and 1. I don't know what that means.
Oh, did you do a classic, don't bother reading the instructions, just bolt it all together and hope it works moment?
I know what it is, I'm just joking. I've just never seen it. I've not seen a dial like that since my whatever bike it was.
Well, you got one now. I'll let you get back and play heading up the hill. And heart rate at the moment, yeah, still at 88, so still plenty to go at.
Yeah, just ticking over. I'm just watching the dials and the gadgets and everything, really. So it's not about to concentrate. I'm just like absolutely multitasking here.
Well, I was going to say there's about 6 screens on the go, a bit like it here. So good luck, mate, and hopefully you'll keep it all together till the end, and the bike will stay together to the end. So you just put it together. Good luck, bud.
Cheers, mate.
See you soon. So great to catch up with Russ out on the roads of the big climb here in Bologna, and looks like Edward's just jumping off the bike. So just going to keep an eye on the riders, and you can see at the moment just in with Darren Topless here. Darren's heart rate at the moment 144 beats per minute. He's getting a little bit snaky up front, as Dr. D is saying. That is quite simply because the riders are just getting stretched out a little bit here. But looks like pretty much everyone together. The man rolling around not too far from the back is Russ Downing here. And Russ going for a nice lightweight bike here, and keeping the heart rate down. So 93 beats per minute, and trying to match his revs. 93 revs per minute. He's not doing too badly now onto this steep hairpin turn here. And as you can see, as the riders come around, it's right the way up to 19%. I just saw on the inside of that turn, and that is one of the reasons you don't want it on 100% difficulty. Absolutely rip your legs off if you are not careful. And it looks to me like this group just about holding together. The front group, 1 or 2 riders just stretching out, and it's going to need to pull back together as it comes up towards the top of the climb. It is definitely steep up here. Just riding in with Thorpe at the moment, and certainly looks like it's Malcolm Thorpe has got it all held together here. Nice and smooth. Luke Allen in here, 80 dates sitting at 3.20. Owen Fletcher in this group. Neil from the Crosscast, 2 6s. Caroline in here as well. Dr. D looking pretty smooth. Main's in here. Mason's in. Genther. You can see Phil Lavery's in with us. Clark's back, and good to have you already joined when the riders already joining and ready to go. Now remember, guys, it's all about keeping it smooth, keep it together, and get that group regrouped on the way through. Let's jump in with Kieran Smith. This is the young man we were talking about. He has been really tough to beat recently. He's been the man to beat on the way through, but will he be able to repeat that feat today? Looks like Rob Wimble back in the orange, white and black, and Joe Jarvis back in the gang, back with the gang. Good to see Joe in the group. So Joe Jarvis out the saddle, kicking over well here. Looks like Andy Scollin not all that far away from Joe. Look at that nice smooth pedaling action there, nearly 90 revs per minute. Just going past McDermott. So looks like Scollin riding nice and smoothly. Scollin, of course, a member of the Donny Chaingang supporters. Look, John Wild is in here. John, one of our regular fast men. Out of the saddle, 67 to 70 revs per minute at the moment for Wild. Looks like Sonia Inslee, not all that far away. Andy Horse nicely sitting at 2.5 watts per kilo, 75 revs per minute for him. Looks like Simon, aka Sean, is in here as well. So Simon, run it in, and remember, give this man a follow on Instagram. Always a great post in the run up to the Chaingang. So guys, quick heads up, if you're up the road, we need you to roll your way back down to the main group, please. There are some riders who seem to think it's smart to be 30 seconds up the road, 30 seconds up the road. Please guys, come back if you are listening live. I know lots of you are. So, Mr. Whitelaw, you know the score. Do it from the back to the front, not from the front off the front. Even if you need to open the tubes, there'll be plenty of chance to do so later. So, the gap's starting to come down. Just starting to see the gap coming down here. It looks like Paul Marley's just saying the guy in the aqueduct just walked back past him, and just see those numbers starting to come down. Remember, we need to regroup before you get round the turn. If you get to the banner and it's not regrouped, what we'll find is it will split on the way down. So it's all about getting the gang back together again. So to give you an indication of where Russ is, he's just about 25-30 meters off, going underneath the arch from left to right. If you are in doubt, look up at your map, zoom out, zoom in, you'll see the yellow beacon currently riding up alongside. If you get to the top, the aim is to wait before you go around the turn. If you don't wait before you go around the turn, you will find that you will roll down the hillside and get endless abuse. We will see riders actually coming up to the top of the climb, and we will, as per usual, be taking pictures so that we know exactly where the riders are out on course. Hardwire, Dr. D knows the score. It is indeed hardwire. Every time is the way to go. If you hardwire your kit in together, then you find that it doesn't get dropouts anywhere near as much, and it makes massive difference in terms of the playability of Zwift as well. You also get better graphics. Basically, the more dropouts you get, it's a snowball effect. The less it can communicate, the more data it sends each time, trying to pick itself back up again instead of it just being a nice smooth flow. It has to reach out and grab the data. Every time it does that, it then means you're in trouble, because what will happen is your internet, if it's struggling, will then have to deal with the grab and the collection of even more data rather than less, and that makes things difficult. So this is all about getting across the top. So it looks like Davison clearly deciding that they're going to get to the top first, and this is why we always like to make sure that we've got the screens running. There is only one marker actually on this course, because it is a Bologna TT course. As you can see, it looks like that one rider now. If we get one rider up the road, usually it means they've got to drop out. They're not seeing any of the other riders around them or the messages, and that's another reason to make sure it is hardwired in together. So Liam Davison no doubt will be hanging it on. Looks like most of the rest of the group just started to come back together, with about 45 seconds at the moment covering the gang from front to back. You can just see lots of riders who's going to be here. So Simon Runnett with a great idea: stop pedaling when you hit the gantry and wait until the Chaingang comes in to until Russ gets up to you. That sounds like an eminently smart idea. You've got to wait on the way up rather than on the way down, though. Otherwise, what will happen is you'll literally roll down. It is really easy. It's the only easy bit about the Donny Chaingang. So looks like Darren Topless here got company on the climb of the colonnade here, and just making his way up towards the top. You can just see the banners are going to start coming out very shortly indeed, as the gang are approaching those turns. Once we get into the branding, the gantry is not all that far away, and we will be sticking with Darren, who's going to be sat at the back of the group, I think, as he comes up towards the top of the climb. So looking super smooth is Darren. You can just see the first of the people who didn't understand the concept of waiting now heading off down the hill. You've got to wait on the uphill, not the downhill. Kirby, come back, Kirby. Don't do it. So it looks like most of the gang now going in underneath the gantry. Our red beacon following the yellow up the road at the moment, and looks like Darren is doing a great job here. And you can see one or two of our riders definitely got the brakes on as they're waiting for that group to come back together again. And there comes the beacon. Look at him picking up a mass of riders here. So let's jump in with Darren Topless. Our red beacon, around that turn he goes. You can see it really is a turn in the road, and now begins the big descent down. And Darren, one of our quick riders now. That means we're a quarter of the way through the ride. When you hit the top of the hill, it's up, down, around the turn and back again. And we'll see who's paying attention to Russ's briefings, because you've got to make sure that you get the distances right. If you get them wrong, you're soon going to know about it. So on the descent goes Darren. He's going to be chasing the group in front pretty quickly. But it's all about getting into that pack as fast as possible. So Darren now on that descent, running his way down the hillside, and looking super quick at the moment. So jumping in very quickly in with Russ, our yellow beacon, on his way down the slopes. You can see just how fast they're moving at the minute. It's not sped up. This is how quick it is. It's absolutely frantic on its way down here in the group. The pack moves really, really fast indeed. And the idea is stay around the yellow beacon. It absolutely hurtles down here. You can see they are going to mop up those people who did a Kermit off the front very, very quickly indeed. Remember, if you find the group, it needs to get back together again. It is very, very fast on its way down and through, and you can just see Russ's group, this yellow beacon group, is sweeping riders pretty quickly. If we take a look and zoom out on the map, but Darren just on his way down the descent. So the riders are all starting to come back together. Just taking a little bit of a look at the time gaps. Remember, as far as anybody in the Chaingang is concerned whose opinions matter, the group is the yellow beacon group. And back at the moment, we're just taking a little bit of a look here at where the riders are in relation to Russ. So we're going to get some time gaps from Russ. Just jumping in with the bear at the moment. So we have at the moment a string of riders between 5 and 15 seconds back. Massive group at 15 seconds, massive group at 45 seconds as well. In fact, some of our fastest riders. We've got group number 1. This is group number 2 on the road here. So this is Group 2 with Pillsworth in here. So at the moment, Group 2 currently at 7 seconds. And that looks like Martin Bolt just behind that group by a further 8 seconds. Looks like Whitelaw and Neil at the crosscast. The guys who are on the way now. Mr. Whitelaw, you've only got yourself to blame. Shouldn't have gone off the front. Tough luck. Neil from the crosscast. Neil, we know, was waiting in with the group all the way to the top. Looks like Kieran Brown was as well. So there are a number of riders just off the back of the pack. We're just going to jump in with Steve Hilbert and Darren Topless at the moment. So as you can see, that front group just reforming. So currently 4 groups behind the yellow beacon group, 4 groups behind the yellow beacon group at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, good 4 groups. So nicely starting to come back together again, just keeping an eye on the riders. Yes, Mr. West, you're back on, but a number of others aren't. So if guys, you can refrain from putting that on the screens, it really does help. You can just see there are a number of riders just fighting to get back into the group at the moment. So looks like Neil from the crosscast, Neil, who had waited currently at 32 seconds in front, so that makes him about 20 seconds off the yellow beacon group. Like Richardson and Mr. Ridley, that's Alan, just making the way onto the group. Just seeing, I think, Neil on his way to making his way up there. So Neil at the moment currently sitting about 8 seconds off the back of the pack, and Sean Ferron, these guys who definitely have waited at the top. Looks like Topless, Hilbert, Bolts and Kitchen maybe a little too far back, but definitely Neil from Gritty was one of the riders who had waited with, climbed the hill pretty much with Russ all the way up. So looks like he's going to be one of those riders who's on to the group. So into town we go. 90 left and a super sharp right coming up. Looks like Neil just about to make contact with Alan and Greg Pillsworth at the moment. Take a little bit of a look back there. Here comes Neil behind, just about making it onto the group. I'm putting in some serious watts per kilo to make it back in, as the front is looking a little bit spicy again. So I'm not surprised Neil is toast on his way through, because that was a big old chaser from Neil to get himself back in. Let's get the drone camera up in the air. The sun beating down the group pretty much all together. Now we knew it was going to be a tough run back in. If there were gaps over the top, if anybody went over the top early, 1 or 2 people took the selfish option and went over the top early. And that's left the riders behind having to fight back on the mafiosi. There is the Donny Chaingang, the Downing cycling riders working together along with most of the gang to pull it back into almost one complete group here. So it looks like Vasey just being distanced out of that pack. Darren, our red beacon, just on his way in. Currently 1 minute and 9 behind Russ. So a few people in the gaps. And remember, this is the nasty little kicker that comes on the way back into town. You can see the gantry coming in front, but the riders will come in to town. You've got this little bit of a drag. You've got a full U-turn to do and then a run back in and through the line. So it is going to be very interesting indeed. Let's jump in with Russ at the moment. You can just see Russ making his way in at the back of this group. So this really is the only chance the riders get to look at how the ride will be. It's not like when we got up the hill 3 times, but here on Nonnas Week, all part of the Donny Chaingang riding in the Giro, and of course celebrating the Giro being an absolutely amazing race yet again, absolutely showing just why we love bike racing, and of course the fact that Nonnas and hospitality now reopening again, and that's exactly what we want to see, and that's why we are celebrating with Nonnas, working with the guys, with Maurizio and Stefano and all of the gang down there. And speak from experience, saying it is a fantastic night. It was really good to be down there at the weekend, and when I went down with the Yellow Beacon on the Women's Wednesdays, and we were there on Sunday, it was great to see other people, real people with real voices, lots of laughter, all the sorts of things that you didn't realise you missed until you go out and enjoy yourself. Now, Red Beacon coming the other way, he's going to see the yellow, so this gives our groups an indication of where everybody is. And Darren Topley is working really well in that Red Beacon group. Russ in with the pack at the moment, so looking pretty smooth here. Let's see if we can just catch up with Russ as they start to run out of town. Russ, are you still with us? Are you in the land of the living?
Just, mate.
That was a bit of a frantic chase down that hill.
It was alright if you stay nice and controlled, ride within.
Yeah, definitely.
Pace the hills, and then you don't have to do anything different, do you?
No, that's it. Right at the pace of the yellow. It's pretty simple, but there are 1 or 2 slow learners out there. But that's life, and it never ever distracts from the fact everyone's going to get a great workout. It's going to be really interesting to see how this goes on the way up the hill.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I thought someone was coming in my room. Where did the door go?
Oh, it's just
was going to jump on the turbo.
Oh, if only.
He'd put some numbers to the pedals, wouldn't he?
He would definitely. It's not the lightest of dogs out there. So listen, mate, we're going to let you get back and focus on it. I'm going to be watching every screen I've got, including my WhatsApp, just to see when we all start to hit the point where you're going to let him go. But at the moment, everything nicely just about back together again, and Red Beacon just closing in.
Yeah, just about made it to the front, so whew.
Steady.
That was a tough one.
Good luck, Russ.
I'll need it.
So great to catch up with Russ there. This group looking pretty smooth together at the moment, and just heading out of town once again. Just going to take a little look at those time gaps. Looking pretty good at the moment. Good to see Charlie Babbitt's back in the Chaingang. Regular on the Chaingang. Darren Topless at the moment. Sean Farrakhan at 2 minutes 27 down on the group. Martin Bolt at 2 minutes 18. And looks like VC's got Anne Kitchen and not all that far away. Just jumping in with Anne here. So Anne has VC about 15 seconds behind. So VC just turning around at that turn. Going to have Steve Hilbert for company very shortly indeed. Steve pushing pretty hard on those pedals. Martin Bolt, I think, is going to see the Red Beacon. Yep, Red Beacon coming behind the main pack, though, up the road with pretty much everybody else all together. And Jimmy Allen, the man who steps into the Bears' shoes as needed, is in that pack, riding nice and smoothly, and 74 beats per minute, clearly not troubling Jimmy at the moment. So everybody getting the breath back, ready for the second ascent. Remember, we have in the past done 3 ascents of the climb. Not doing that today. It's 2 ascents of the climb, with Mr. Topless now trying to chase as hard as he can with a little bit of company in there. So the bus is forming at the back, the Red Beacon bus. The group looking good at the moment, and just heading out through Bologna. So whilst this group is all together, don't forget, of course, we have the Donny Chaingang back out on Tuesday as well as Thursday. So 2 days going to be really busy. We're going to be really looking forward to seeing what happens when we go on Thursday to Crit City. It is always frantic, it's always mad, and should be a really interesting time for our riders. At the moment, everybody are working well together, and certainly seems like this group just keeping it nice and smooth as they head off up the road at the moment. So you see that pack all together, Crit City coming up downtown Dolphin. If you're a member of the DCG gang, you've got all the details, where the routes are, how many laps we're doing, what the courses are. You'll have the Zwift Insider links as well as the links for all of the stats with Velo Viewer, the YouTube links to the last time we covered the ride there as well. And don't forget, of course, my take and Zwift Insider's take on what is coming up and what is in store. Don't forget, of course, all the links go direct to members of DCG gangs inboxes as well, so no having to register individually. And if you are a member, don't forget, guys, that we have the registration open for next month and onwards, and make sure you get it nice and early before the end of the month. Lots of you already are renewing, great to see. Being with a chance of lots of more giveaways and prizes. It's very easy to get more than the donation to join, £20 a month, and it's easy to get that back very, very quickly, indeed, with massive discounts, with big discounts from people like OTE, Halo, Wheels, Grand Tour Coffee, and the like. So the group all together as they head out along the straight, and going to be taking a little bit of a check on the ride. It's not going to be long before they go up on to the climb. If we pull up the stats here and pull the map out, you'll just see we're coming across the river, and pretty much as soon as we go across that across the river here in Bologna, we go up on to the climb proper. So the beacon group pretty much all together. They've got the right and left hand turns to come, and then they're going to be up on to the climb. Let's dive in with the group at the moment, and looks like just about holding all together at the moment. So 3, the magic number from Russ, 3 watts per kilo, the number that Russ has put out there. Let's see how many people can count to 3. Aim is to stay by that yellow beacon. Looks like Bryce Smithy glued to the back wheel. Marlin's in there. Dobson is here. It is Spot the Yellow Beacon. It's right at the back if you haven't seen it before. I'm just giving a little look at the guys behind. Just in with Edwards. Looks like Russ at the moment. In with Mr. License. Just starting the group. But Reed just a little bit further back. Kitchen. Looks like Kitchen's going to see Hilbert pretty soon as well. At different parts of this course suit different riders on the way up here, and looks like Gary License nicely in that group. Got Eddie Dench not all that far away. So just seeing Gary on that turn. The front looks like they've got the keen beans have engaged the Aspers a little bit early here. It's dropping one or two of our riders off the back of the pack and already starting to string out. So the shout's gone out from Russ to knock the pace off. Looks like it's being followed at the moment. Just going to jump in Mr. Miles Curry in here as well. Looks like Luke Allen here, Sam Emsley nicely in this pack. Dr. D doing the business once again in the pack. So Dr. D keeping the revs nice and smooth. Looks like Main in here. Sure, I've seen Dick Samuel. Ben Cokin in the group, another member of the Donny Chaingang supporters club. Rich Owl in here, Paul Coleman back in with us. I see Dave Fulton in here as well. Looks like Ferris in here. Ian from 1080 sitting in the pack. So he's feeling pretty rough, riding well at the moment. So 1080's Ian Taylor in here nicely. And the go has gone. It's gone early today. Russ has hit the numbers. He said go for it early. They're only just on the climb. We're not even over the steepest section. And this is where there is a massive scrabble for wheels. All of a sudden, the message boards go quiet. Nobody's talking. And the reason they're not talking is they've just realised that the go has gone. And up the road, the riders who were maybe just pausing a little bit just realised they're going to have to push on here. Now, let's jump in with Russ at the moment. Now, Russ, of course, on the bike for the first time, on that kicker bike for the first time. Looks like Crawley and Coleman are just in front here. You just see them pushing on in front of Russ at the moment. Whitelaw spinning his legs off to get up alongside Russ, but at the moment looks like Coleman is the man who's got a certain Mr. Brown on his heels. We said Brown was looking to take another victory away. Kieran Brown has been absolutely unstoppable the last couple of rides. He's taken the battle to the fastest ice cream man in the west, in the Lake District. That is the one and only Paul Whitelaw. So Whitelaw is in here. Now the question is, has he had his sprinkles? Has he been eating enough toffee crunch? Basically what you want it to do is for it to be sunny, because the days when it's sunny and he's selling loads of ice cream, he doesn't get to eat as much, he doesn't go as quick. It's really straightforward. Wild, who we featured earlier, looking strong yet again. Look at this, 67 revs per minute, 178 beats, 400 plus watts on this 9% section here. And Wild going alongside Coleman at the moment, and this is where it really gets interesting. We go round the left-hand turn, the gradient kicks, but we've got the right-hand turn coming up. This is where there's massive numbers on the way through here. Look at it kick up there. You can see the riders up at 19% on the inside of that turn, and that really does start to take its toll. You've just seen Thorpe come in to the back of this group here. Now, Thorpe is a man to watch out for. He's there or thereabouts all the time. Is it going to be his day today? You can see just how steep this is. A angle against the upright, the pillars of the colonnade here, and this is the front of the Donny Chaingang at the moment. Remember, we're not finishing at the top this time, we're finishing at the bottom, and that is going to affect the tactics here, because if you break away on your own, you could see what happened on the run last time. Being on your own is no good. You can be swept up by a fast moving pack. It is so quick on the way down, and the smart money is staying with people they know can put the power down on the way through. So at the moment, our two leaders, it's Crawley on the front here, being marked by Kieran Brown. Behind in the orange coming up, that, as you can see, that is Paul Whitelaw leading the chasing bunch at the moment. So it is very, very close here. The gaps are next to nothing. So at the moment, it is Crawley leading, Kieran Brown, then Whitelaw, Coleman, Wild, Thorpe, Russ at the moment chasing behind, trying to close that gap down. Let's go dive back in with Russ. You can see the gaps in front if we look back from Russ, so he's got plenty of assistance, and this is key on this course, because it's all about making sure that you've got riders who are going to help you on the way back down. It's no good being on your own on that descent. You are going to be in trouble. Now it is braking a little bit on the front. We're going to drop in and take a quick view back from Crawley as he comes in to the tunnels. You can just see the chase is on as these riders appear, and it is Whitelaw who's closed that gap down. He looks like he's going to try and get on to the heels here of Ryan Crawley, but behind Coleman, I think, has got a few riders with him, and it looks like it's going to be a group of three. So 3 riders up the road, 3 riders chasing in group number 2. So it's Crawley, Brown and Whitelaw together near the front. You then group 2, which is Coleman, Thorpe and Wild. Group 3, well, it's almost a group. It's headed by Russ, but if we get that drone up in the air and get a little bit of a look back, you can see Russ at the moment is a man on his own. He's got a few riders strung out behind him, and that is not going to aid him as he makes his way back down again. He's going to need some assistance now. Let's have a little look. Other fast men, Phil Lavery just behind, so Lavery is behind him. Looks like Darryl Tashaw, Kieran Smith, Adi Dench in there, Ben Sullivan's not all that far away. Looks like Neil from the Crosscast almost in contention. Now one man who said he was the contender for the day, it is Mason. Now Mason is conserving his power, I think, at the moment. Let's take a little bit of a look. Yep, 400 watts. You can just see they've got to try and push on a little bit here. We've got Jimmy Allen not all that far behind, so it's Alan Conley. Looks like it's going to be Alan though with Ferret, the fat cyclist. Mason in here. He's got Taylor and Darby in there as well. Oh, look at this. Tristan from Harrogate. He's on a bit of a mission here. He knows that he wants to get into this group in front. So Tristan just trying to push on to the group. Adi Dench chasing on to the heels of the riders in front. Sullivan, Booth, Fletcher, Dobson up here. Darryl Tatchell, Waller chasing, but you can see already these riders in the lead already starting to descend down the hillside. So these are the leaders at the moment, and this is where things get really, really interesting, because we have to try and keep a check on where the nearest riders are behind. Now over the top now. For those of you wondering what sort of setups are on, had a check out of Paul Whitelaw's setup, and Whitelaw is on a kicker on a direct drive turbo trainer. So is Kieran Brown. Kieran Brown been around to Kieran's workshop and seen his turbo trainer setup. Kieran, another rider on a full direct driver with taking the power measurement direct, and these 3 riders at the moment are absolutely hurtling down here, 86 kilometers per hour. The question is anybody closing them down? Remember, they were group 1 over the top. Things will start to become clear pretty quickly. They've just gone past the beacon, which is Topless. So Darren Topless is in there now. The chase is coming behind. It's 1 minute 21, and these are the riders who are in there. So this is Coleman, and they are currently trying to chase a 119 deficit. They need more numbers though. So at the moment it is Coleman chasing. He's got Thorpe for company in there. He's got John Wild. So these 3 riders chasing the 3 riders in front behind though. Downing is here, and Downing has a group of riders around him here. So it looks like he's got Lavery in this in with him at the moment, and just going to take a quick check as they come down here. 80 kph. So Lavery and Downing are together, 2 big powerhouses working to drop down this hill. Then Tashaw Waller, he's currently group 4 on the road, and Tashaw Waller's got Kieran Smith for company. Kieran Smith, the rider with the flat cap, and looks to me like Varty's really putting the power on, and Varty is here. He's in the orange, white and black. Our camera is really bobbling to stay with him at the moment, to stay in front. Here we go, in front of Varty at the moment. The rider in the orange, white and black, they are chasing our leading group. This is the leading 3 riders on the run back. So group 1, Crawley, Brown, Whitelaw. Group 2, 51 seconds down, Thorpe, Wild and Coleman. Group 3, it's Downing and Lavery. Group 4 is Varty, Smith and Tashaw Waller. Then we've got 1 rider on his own. It's a 5th group of 1. sixth group on the road is going to be Dobson and Booth with Dench and Neil just behind from the crosscast. So this is about sort of group 7 and 8 here coming in behind, and lots of riders chasing in that pack, but the riders, they've got to close down. They are right up at the front here, riding in with Kieran Brown. The question is, Kieran got the firepower here? So Crawley, one of our faster riders, back on the Chaingang once again. You've got Paul Whitelaw, the fastest ice cream salesman in the business. He's here. He's a rider who spends his time, he lives in the Lake District, and after a bit of a hellscape, I'm sure he won't mind me telling you, only a few years ago, about 4 years ago I think it was, just really has dedicated to looking after himself, riding his bike. He's a lean, mean, enjoying his life machine at the moment, and putting in lots of miles at the moment. You can just see these three riders are holding off the riders behind. We're going to try and jump across to the leading group. Easier said than done, I'm afraid, at the moment, as this group drops down the hillside. So we're going to jump in with our leaders. Here we are, the leading group of three. It is Whitelaw, Crawley and Brown together. These three riders holding off the trio behind. They are going to be fighting out for 4th, 5th and 6th places. The question is, who is paying attention to where the finish is behind? 21 seconds down on them is Downing and Lavery. Now these two riders will not want catching by the three behind. That's Varty, Smith and Tatshall Waller. Now Murphy's working hard. This is going to make it a group of 4. That will be one of our biggest groups if Murphy can get in contact with these three, and then they can chase the Downing Lavery duo in front. That would make a bigger group trying to chase the yellow beacon. Top right hand side of your screen, you can see the yellow beacon on your map. You can just see it is zoomed out. There's still plenty of distance left to get into the finish. Murphy needs to get in touch with Smith, Tatchell, Waller and Varty, and then need to close that gap down behind. You can just see, it looks to me like this pack now. This is the group containing Mason. So Mason in the red and black, with Dench in here, Herring in here as well, Jimmy Allen, Dobson in here. It's a big group, and these groups are starting to reform. They've got to try and close those gaps down on the yellow beacon on our leaders, and they haven't got all that far left to close down some of these placings in front. However, you can just see at the front, the riders are just keeping an eye on each other here. So it looks like Kieran Brown has gone on a big early attack here. He's looking to attack each other here. You can see the numbers have suddenly gone through the roof here. So Kieran Brown's gone early. He's looking to open up the gap down. Crawley's doing all the work here. If I was Crawley, I'd be sitting on Whitelaw's wheel. Whitelaw's the man who's hot favourite to take the sprint. But Brown has opened up a 2-second gap, and they're not coming back all that quickly at them here. Whitelaw now doing the work. Brown on the front of this. Great attacking ride by Kieran Brown. We've got to give him a ride on. Let's get one in for Mr. Whitelaw and for Mr. Crawley. These are our three riders who are currently at the front and trying to make it count now. Looks like Kieran Brown just stretched his legs out there. He's made Whitelaw and Crawley work. How many more kicks has Kieran got in those legs? We're going to find out. Still plenty of distance to go behind. The gaps are coming down between Group 2. That's Wildthorpe and Coleman. There's less than 20 seconds at the moment to Group number 3. That's Downing and Larry. And then behind, that pack really has formed in the chase, and that is coming in the shape here of Kenning. But if we get the drone up in the air, look at this. This is now becoming a much stronger force to be reckoned with. Jimmy Allen on the front, Mason coming up in the red and black, moving his way up there. 80 Dench in there, Varty is in there as well. You can just see Dobson in the blue moving up as well. Daltashall, Waller, Murphy in there, Herring is in there. These guys, they work together. They could pull back at least the Yellow Beacon group. They've got the chance potentially to pull back Larry, who's just in front of Downing. there, so they could take those. There's only another 18 seconds. You've got group number 2, so they could be in with the chaser to take out the riders there. It's going to be interesting to see who's got that now. Look at this once again. Kieran Brown just dropping off the back of Whitelaw in that group. We're on the run in and now towards the finishing turn. So it's round the turn and into the finish. The question is, can they take victory? It's going to come from one of these 3 riders here at the moment. You can just see Whitelaw in the orange, Brown in the green, and it is Crawley in the pink with the number 20 on his back. So these riders now on the run in. You see the turn just in front. If we drop to the drone cam behind, here comes the archway. It's uphill into the turn. The turn itself is flat. Is anybody going to go at the wrong time? Remember, we've got to go round the turn and back out again to get through the finish. So that's the finish line. Now looks like Whitelaw's getting twitchy here. Brown laying off at the moment behind. You can just see Thorpe, Coleman and Wilder putting in moves on each other here. They're not wanting to leave it for a run in, for a sprint in to the finish. These are the 3 leaders at the moment coming in. We're just in with Crawley. They're going to go through. They've got to get round the turn. Who is going to have the kick? Who is going to be able to take this now? Very difficult to work out who we should be with here. We're going to jump in. Let's jump in with Kieran. This is a real gamble, I have to admit. So in they come round the turns here. And at the moment it is Crawley leading them out. It's into the gantry. They're going. Who's going to take it? We're up in the air above them here. Whitelaw and Crawley side by side. Look at that. It's Crawley who gets it. So Crawley takes it from Whitelaw with that. It's going to be Kieran Brown coming in 3rd place there now. This is group number 2. So fantastic run in there. Great sprint in to the finish. So it was Crawley in 1. In 2 was Coleman. In 3 was Brown. Now has Thorpe gone too early here? Remember, they've got to go round the U-turn and back in again. You just see Kieran Brown rolling in the opposite direction now. So at the moment it's Thorpe of these 3. This is for 4th, 5th and 6th places today here on the Donny Chaingang live on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. You can see Coleman's got a power. He's got an arrow in. Here we are. We're riding in with Coleman now. So Coleman's going to come round this turn. Here he comes. It looks like he's got the gap. Has he done enough here to open it up? It looks like he's done it. He's opened it. He put the power up at the right time. So it is going to be a 4th place for Coleman, a 5th place for Thorpe, and it's a 6th place then behind for Wild. I think just checking as they go in and through. Sorry, Wild, then Thorpe in that order. Then it's going to be Russ Downey coming in to Worsley. So it's going to be Russ in next. Then just going to take a look. I think it's going to be Lavery's going to be our next rider into the finish. So Lavery goes through behind him, though. This is the group on the way up the hillside. Sorry, my apologies. They've been in and round the turn already by the look of it. So it looks to me like they're already in and round that turn. Brutal finish there on the way down for these riders. It really is tough stuff. Looks like Kieran Smith stopped in the wrong spot. We're going to drop back from these riders. We're on the riders up on the way up the hillside here. So we're going to take a little bit of a look at those riders. Looks like Ferret is on his way in to that turn. And just going to keep an eye Fletcher just on his way in now. So I think Fletcher's going to be our next rider on his way in. Apologies if we miss you. You know exactly what it's going to be like on this. He knew it was going to break on the top of the hillside now. Fletcher's going to be our next rider in. He's got to go in to the finish line behind him. It looks to me like that. It's going to be a Tristan from Harrogate behind him. Tristan's coming hard here, and I think Tristan from Harrogate could have him on the line here. He does. So Tristan from Harrogate takes Fletcher on the line. Singleton not all that far behind as well. Craig Genther on a big old sprint in for the line. Really is tricky stuff getting these riders to come in and through. So a really brutal night here in Nonnas a week. The riders all trying to make their way in to the finish. Very, very tough turn. and run in to the finish. And there's going to be some tales told about just how brutal that was on the way around there. Now we're going to go back, try and pick up some more of the groups. So it looks like Wimble and Co on the way in. Martin is, I think, just in front. We're going to keep an eye. Martin through the finish there. So looks like he's gone through. These riders at the moment are absolutely nailed as they come through the finish. You can just see this is our next group. We're just in with Barry Kipling at the moment. It's like Sam Emsley just in front of him. So around the turn goes Kipling, and going to watch Ted on his way in here. So it looks like Ted's got a finish on him. Has he got enough to take the kick in here? It looks like he's been pushed all the way. It looks like it's going to be Ben Cokin just taking it then on the way through. Sadler working hard to close the gap down. Kipling comes through just behind him. So next groups on the way in. I think we're going to jump in with Andy Scothen. So Scothen, another member of the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, a man in with the chance of winning on Thursday. £100 voucher, £25 voucher, first and second prizes up for grabs on Thursday. These are going to be our next riders into the line. So it's Scothen at the moment, and I think he's going to be passed here. It looks like Rich Orrell is going past, so it looks like it's going to be Orrell who's going to get this. Then it's going to be Scotland. I think Fulton not too far behind, just being passed there. Matt No going through. We're going to drop back. Dick Samuel going in around the turn. I don't think it's all that far away to going to be Simon Runnett. So Runnett on his way towards the line here, looking pretty smooth here as he makes his way towards the line. Is he going to hold off? Whoa, just holds off Matty Smith, who just came through behind now. Just see the group on the way in towards the line. It is Andy Hawes. I think Coleman just going in the opposite direction at the moment. So Dr. D, our next rider, on his way around the turn at the moment. He's got a few riders up in front heading in for the line, but look at this, he's been popped by Andy Hawes. Horsey on his way towards the line. Dick Samoa just in front of him, so Samoa's going to go through just in front. So some more going through. Catley on his way through. John Garfoot, massive sprint from Garfoot just there. Jones doing the same. Caroline on her way in here. So it's Mansfield. Whew, tricky to keep up with everybody on this course. The U-turns definitely make the finish much more tricky indeed. So Mansfield now on the way around the turn. On the way in got I think Senior and Crease just in front, and Caroline putting in a kick in to the line. They're just going to closing on Senior all the way to the line now. Mr. Ridley, Alan Parsons, none of our regular riders. So it looks like Dr. D got the line wrong. Got to get it on the turn back out and around, mate. It is critical to get it in the right direction. Wow, now let's see who we can check out on the way down. Big kick here by Alan Parsons in through the line. Now we are going to see a group coming the opposite direction very quickly here, and I think it is going to be this group here who are going to be our next riders on the way in. So we have in here Kitchen in and riding, got the turn to do. Sonia Inslee in the black, Kitchen in the grey. You've got Charles on the Peugeot top, and you've got Joe Jarvis in the blue. So three women in this group of four at the moment. I think it's going to be Kitchen who's going to get this big kick in from Kitchen. Great move there. Going to get the timing just right. Look at that. That is how to make sure you get the finish in the right time. It looks like Sonia Inslee today not in the kill, and it's Kitchen, then Charles, then Jarvis, then Inslee as they came in through the line there. Now let's hunt across to Mason. Mason's going to be our next rider on his way in through the line, just rolling through the barriers, doing a bit of wall riding on his way around. So just hunting our way down. Our next rider behind us goes in. So Joe Jarvis going for the wrong sprint. No! Never good news. Next in is going to be Steve Hilbert. Steve, tough day at the office for Steve. In the wrong place at the wrong time, I think, today. Not to be his day. And I know Steve will be back for more on the Donny Chaingang here live on the Donny Cycling YouTube channel. Thursday, of course, we are back in with the gang in the Crit special that is Crit City. And that's underneath the gantry goes Hilbert now. Next rider out on the course is going to be Clark. So Clark on his way in, another rider joining the Donny Chaingang in June. Good to have you with us, Mick Clark, one of our regulars on the Donny Chaingang, always in the mix. And nice set of revs there, 90 revs per minute as he's going to come in to that turn. He'll be round the turn and underneath that gantry very shortly indeed. So Clark around the turn underneath the gantry. Then we're going to try and jump across towards Russ in theory. If all the tech works at the right time. So good riding, Mr. Clark. Doing the business here in Bologna, alla, Nonnas, and I think a few people liking the change in the course this time round. So we are going to hunt back for our next riders, and I think our next rider is going to be Vicia, who's on her way in towards the finish, which means we've got to jump in with Russ. Let's see if he's in the land of the living. Oh, the tunes are banging already. How are you going, Russ?
Woo! Rinsing out the towels, mate.
Bit of a warm one, was it?
It was good. It's tasty.
It looked really, really interesting. The group behind you were working and getting bigger and bigger and bigger and getting quicker and quicker and quicker, but they couldn't pull you back. And then Larry put in a couple of digs, I think, but you managed to keep him under control as well.
Yeah, I think we were just turn for turn, really. You know, we had no communication. I had to get his chat on because I was telling him to come on. And then I think he popped with about 500 to go. So he did like 3 seconds down, just going into the last corner. So I just squeezed it on. But yeah, it was great workout. You know, we were going up that last climb. You know, it was pretty much all in there really. From when I called go, the guys rode away, and that was that.
It is, and we know that Kieran Brown is on a direct drive. Paul Whitelaw on direct drives. These guys basically are riding for the DCG. And really interesting comment from Kieran Brown. He's rediscovered his mojo on the Donny Chaingang, and it might not be out in real life, but he's really is enjoying the riding, which is great to see.
Yeah, you know, that's what the gang was started for. You know, we were all having a bit of a tough time, you know, with COVID, and it's just grown from strength to strength. And you know, the messages just come in for hours after the ride. You know, everyone's loving the new course. He said it was more tactical on the way down, and that's what we hope for. You know, we hope that people would get the sprint wrong, and they did. I've heard it on the commentary there. You know, read your programme and don't go for the wrong finish line, because we've all done that. I end up like Connor Swift, waiting on the side of the road for a while for the verdict to come in.
Definitely. You don't want to go for the wrong one. And we're not going to guarantee where that finish line is going to be, because I think we're going to be using the Nonnas version of this course a few times. But I suspect we might be mixing it up here, Russ. We might swap from going in to going back out again, just to see who's on the ball, watching the messages and doing what they're told.
That's it. Keep people on the toes. You know, it's a bike race is a bike race, and things can change. You know, you've got to go look at the Giro. They're changing the route every bloody day nowadays. So you know, you've got to take all this in your stride.
Definitely, and really pleased with how those groups stay together. Hopefully we're going to see plenty of people out on Thursday, and of course we've had some great winners tonight as well, with Keith Hayward and Ian Bibby winning on the Nonnas giveaway, and I'm sure that's going to be put to good. Those lectures are going to be put to good use.
Yeah, you know, it's great. You know, the Nonnas. The Stefano wasn't on tonight. He's too busy working now. He's playing catch up. You know, so I'm sure the guys will be on when it quietens off. But yeah, great night, and I don't know if I've got a bit of Italian pasta or something for tea tonight. We'll see.
No, I'm sure. I hate to say it, mate. No matter how good a cook you are, it can't match. It's not going to match Nonnas. I've been researching it thoroughly for several years. just for this moment in time, really, to be able to tell you.
I'm
It's
not
going to
sure
be very
that-
difficult to match.
I don't really cook, mate. My wife spent enough time in Nonnas and taking some good tips there. So yeah, I'll leave it to her. She pulls out a good feed. As Liam Calloway commented on my little Instagram post the other night, so he was jealous of the feed the other night.
Well, definitely. Just seeing the two riders coming through, Sean Ferran and it's going to be VC Kushak just coming through the line there, which means we've not too many people left out on course. Martin Bolt is going to be, he's got the through the line and back again to go by the look of it. So going to be, it's going to be pretty quick, and we're going to be done tonight. That was seems to have been a fast night on the Nonnas night, but every time always flies when you're on a Nonnas night. Let's face it.
Yeah, I think the 3 times up there can drag. You've got to really, you got twice going. Not easy up it, but under full gas. So it's good to just have one, regroup, and then go again. I think everyone's really enjoyed it. Keeps people on their toes. What was it? An hour and 5 or something, 6 for the leaders.
Yep, and I think Martin Bolt's going to go through in about 1 hour 16, and I think Darren's going to be in about 1:17. So Martin on his way towards the line, and Darren will be through in about 1:17 and a half. So quite a quick night for a Bologna night. Maybe not quite as brutal, but definitely a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to get dropped with still 20k to go or something. It's just it's a slogfest, and but I think we kept it together well, and the course is always so hard, when it's going uphill. Everyone's just, they love the Tuesday and Thursday nights now, so everyone's at work, the tapering and everything, got the feet up at the desks and all sorts of stuff, so...
It's all great to see, isn't it? And that's what we want to see. We want to see it on the Facebook pages and all those comments on there. So well done to everybody. Russ, we're going to let you get some recovery done. I'm sure you've got another busy day in between the pain cave, fettling the Wahoo bike, and of course getting some training in so that you're all ready for Thursday's Sprint Fest.
I don't think training will be on the cards, but I'm on a day off from the pain cave tomorrow, a bit of tidying up I think, and then full gas for the weekend and try and get some wires in it so we can actually use it.
Sounds good to me. Well, congratulations on another good ride, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Cheers mate, thanks a lot.
So great to catch up with Russ and our red beacon, and now on his way in to the finish here. And it's Darren Topless of Pine Cycles making his way in. The red beacon, the bus, been having a relatively quiet night tonight, which is going to have been good news because it can be a bit of an epic. But Darren, I think, getting easy duties there tonight. So great to see Darren on there. Thank you very much, Darren. One of our plethora of beacons, the red beacons job, or one of the volunteer roles on the Donny Chaingang. Make sure you get involved. Make sure that you join the Facebook pages for the Donny Chaingang, the virtual Swift event. Make sure, of course, join Donny Chaingang Supporters Club if you can. That helps us keep the show on the road. And remember, of course, make sure you support the people who support your sport. A massive thank you to Maurizio and to Stefano from Nonnas. Make sure you're on the website. Even if you're not local to Sheffield or Chesterfield, make sure that you get yourselves on the website. Loads of great products, lots of great food. Key to making great food, great ingredients, and they've got loads and loads on the website, so you can order it in by mail order as well. Big thank you to them. We've got another giveaway coming up for DCG members, the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, on Thursday. We'll be back on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. The coverage, the holding the screens, starting off just about 5:30 of the show, coming out from 5:45 with the ride starting at 6 o'clock with all the previews in there. So thanks for watching. It's been great fun putting the words to the action on the Donny Chaingang once again. From me, Matt Payne, enjoy a couple of days of rest. We'll see you on Thursday.